Well, we're still at the NMRA National Convention in Salt Lake City.
We are.
And here's the program.
Right. Has the cool picture on the back of it too. Yeah.
Yeah, the golden spike.
Wonderful.
We showed you guys the tracks system.
Yes.
And the FrontRunner interurban system. And right next to the FrontRunner interurban system is an old swimming pool.
Why?
And so we're going to show you this old swimming pool. Now, why are we going to show you an old swimming pool? Because some guys have built a model railroad under the swimming pool.
That figures.
How do you do that? Well,
yeah.
You will see. Pay attention to this. The Golden Spike Model Railroad Club under a swimming pool.
Under a swimming pool.
Check it out. Well, a couple of weeks ago, as part of the NMRA National Convention, we were here at the FrontRunner shops, which are in the old Union Pacific diesel shops. But just about a block away is this intriguing building over here. This large adobe structure was called the Hot Springs Plunge. This was built in the 1920s by Salt Lake City as a municipal facility. I actually went swimming there as a kid.
It looks like it would be fun to swim there.
It was. This indoor pool, the great big pool, was heated by a hot springs, a whole series of hot springs around the area here. They also had an outdoor pool that was just fresh water. The facility had originally been built by the pioneers in 1850 as this little tiny bathhouse. It was actually served by the city's very earliest horse-drawn trolley.
That would be a fun event to take the trolley to the bathhouse.
It was very popular, but later on the city took it over and turned it into this municipal facility, and it did quite well for quite some number of years. In the summer, the freshwater outdoor pool was open. A lot of people preferred that because, well, the indoor pool was kind of smelly. Sulfur. But then a lot of people touted the healing qualities, and they would come to take the waters, as they would say. But the other issue was that the industrial area around here kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. There was more to it than just the locomotive shops. And pretty soon it didn't seem like a very fun place to go swimming for that reason as well. So if you start looking around, it's not hard to find the sulfur warm springs that heated this pool. They're still around, and you can still smell them too.
Oh boy.
Ew. And in the 1980s, they decided to convert the facility into a children's museum and drain the pools. They actually put the filing cabinets for the city down in the swimming pool.
Oh my.
But there was also a local model railroad club, the Golden Spike Club, at the fairgrounds, and they were getting evicted from the fairgrounds. And they said, let's make that part of the children's museum. We'll put it down in the basement under the pool. And so they moved their model railroad club to the basement under the pool here. Yeah, you don't need to worry about the water leaking into the model railroad club because, as you can see, there's no water in the pool anymore.
I'd really like to see this reopened.
Well, there's a move afoot to do just that. In the meantime, the Golden Spike Model Railroad Club has been thriving down in the basement. Children's Museum is gone, Hot Springs Plunge is gone, filing cabinets are gone. Model Railroad Club still here and just thriving. So that's pretty cool.
That's nice.
And they were on the model railroad tours of the NMRA National Convention. So a bunch of us got to ride the bus over here and see the railroad.
I really like the paint job on this locomotive.
I've always loved Western Pacific paint jobs, that one being one of my favorites. Of course, almost being part of the Union Pacific North yards and diesel shops, Union Pacific is the big railroad featured here at the Model Railroad Club.
I like to see where they're loading reefers with ice.
Isn't that neat to see? And Pacific Fruit Express.
Wow.
It's one of my favorite trains.
A bygone era.
Bygone era. The railroad itself is known for its huge vertical mountains. It is the Wasatch, after all. But the tracks extend from about 2 feet off the floor all the way to within inches of the beams holding up the swimming pool.
Oh my goodness. They seem to be running a lot of long trains.
Well, you know, that's so popular at the model railroad clubs because they're big enough you can do that.
Right.
You can have these huge, realistically long 100-car trains. And on a monster railroad like this one, no problem.
I was really impressed by the locomotive shops.
Yeah, they have this huge roundhouse, back shops, machine shop, and then they have a completely separate diesel facility as well.
Wow, check out the windows.
Isn't that neat?
That's neat.
The back shops building.
Complete with an overhead crane.
Isn't that cool?
Yes.
Oh, and this is looking a little crummy.
Oh dear.
Your favorite, the cabooses.
That's right.
A caboose track, the crummy track. This being, I guess, the Southern Pacific's caboose track over here. But this was an interchange point between UP and SP when the SP actually existed. And here's the aforementioned diesel shops.
It looks like they run predominantly steam engines.
Yeah, I think they have an affinity for the giant Union Pacific steam engines, and so it makes sense that the steam shops are the biggest, and frankly, the steam locomotives are the most popular here. This is the newest addition to the club, this huge yard. Like all model railroad clubs, they're always growing and evolving, and a few years ago they added this huge switching yard. Now here's a bit of trivia that you guys can add in the comments. Can anyone identify those 2 units pulling that train right there? That is unusual.
It sure is.
Well, a whole lot of the NMRA people all showed up over here, and boy, did they put on a grand show for us.
They really did.
Running these big trains and just showing us a grand time under the swimming pool.
There you go.
Told me not to.
Wow, here's a beautiful model.
Oh my, look at that.
A little out of character here on the Union Pacific, but a Milwaukee Road passenger train. I believe it's a Hiawatha, but what a beautiful train. Well, did we lie?
No.
It's a model railroad club under a
Under
swimming
a swimming pool. That's crazy.
I'm not quite sure how that works, but we've been down there, so we know it does.
It does.
It doesn't leak because, well, there's no water
There's
in
no
the
water in
swimming
the
pool.
swimming pool. Otherwise, it'd be a rainy railroad.
They'd like to put water in the swimming pool. They're trying to get the facility open
I would
again.
like to
and
see
I,
that.
for one, would just love
It's
that.
a cool old building.
It's just awesome. Fix that place all up and
Right.
put water in the swimming
That's
pool.
right.
I'll jump in.
Right.
I have no pride or swimming suit, but
Well,
since I have no pride, I don't need a
I
swimming
have
suit.
no swimming skills. So
700 east.
could do a thing.
Anyway, it's a good model railroad club. Been around 50 years. And not in that location, but many
Many
years in that
locations.
location under the swimming pool.
Right.
And how cool is that? About 40 members down there running trains all the time.
Right.
Open to the public one day a month.
Exactly.
So totally cool. Well, if you haven't been over to the channel, do pop over to the channel. And if you're not a subscriber,
700
you can
east.
become a subscriber.
Right.
By clicking on the blue button with the
Right.
rocket ship in the middle of it. Are you ready for it? Zoink. Right there. Well, we're not sure how you found this movie on the internet, and we hope you didn't find it boring, because it wasn't actually boring.
Yeah, no.
Under a swimming pool? I don't know. And we will see you here on Tuesday, because we have some toys to play with. We'll see you
Exactly.
then.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.